Welcome to ThinkTech. We are raising public awareness about energy, technology, globalism, and diversification. This show is Center Stage. I am your host, Donna Blanchard, proud Managing Director of Kumukuhua Theater. And today we will be talking with Garrick Paikai and Dartanion London of the Improvaganza. Probably not the Improvaganza. We'll just say Improvaganza. A few notes that I need to give you first. All of our shows are streamed live on ustream.tv and Spreaker.com. You can check out all of our past shows in our archives on YouTube or at thinktechhawaii.com. If you would ever like to join us in our studio audience, just email j@thinktechhawaii.com. And I don't have any notes about these fellows. Normally I will go through some notes and talk about people, but let me tell you, let me give you the full scoop so you know what happened here. I had another guest scheduled for today, our beloved Jane Campbell, maven of theater in Hawaii for over 50 years, and unfortunately she's not feeling well today. So I got a hold of my friend Garrick Paikai, who is one of the organizers for Improvaganza, and I said, can you come and do my show? And he said, yeah, I can do that. And so here he is, and he brought Dartanion along, who's one of the performers in Improvaganza this year. Thank you so much for being here.
You're very
welcome. Had I been thinking, I would have had you scheduled to be here anyway. So things just work out. I'm sorry that Jane is not feeling well, but hopefully she'll be back with us next week, and our timing will be sublime.
Not a problem. Not a problem at all.
Okay, good.
We're happy to be here.
And you've just come down from the North Shore.
From the beach.
To be here.
Yeah.
That explains why my hair looks so awesome.
You're
trail sand over here.
You're looking good.
Can I show that I'm actually wearing a bathing suit right now?
Yeah, if you want, go ahead. Yeah, I wish
Sorry
you
to start off
would
the show
actually.
This way, but I want everyone to see that this is what I'm actually wearing because we just came straight from the beach.
And me too, but I'm not going to show. How are the waves? How is it up
good.
there?
It was small, but North Shore, Waimea Bay, it's always got that tide, pulls you in, so it's fun. It was fun.
You actually were out playing in the water.
Yeah, playing in the water. Yeah.
Oh, good.
I tried to shoot like a Baywatch open where we were like running through the water, but it pushed us around so much that it's going to look like Baywatch with like a failed Steadicam or something.
Yeah, why didn't Baywatch ever look like that? Oh, because the camera was moving.
Yeah, the camera was moving.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, sorry. it was like Baywatch if a monster attacked.
Okay, which is kind of a cool story to run with.
I think that was how the show ended, actually.
Someone should try.
Yeah, it was a good ending. It's better than Lost.
Well, Lost was not. We can't go into that. Breaking Bad? No.
Good
Good
show,
ending.
good arc, good ending, good everything.
Yeah, the best ending ever. Worst ending ever, probably MASH. Am I dating? I'm dating myself. Okay. So now let's get back to business. Okay. Now that I've embarrassed myself. And where are you coming to us from?
Seattle.
Seattle.
That's why I had to prove that I even have a bathing suit.
Oh,
I use it once a year if I come to this festival, actually.
Oh, fabulous. How many years have you been coming here?
This is his 5th year.
Oh.
So he's at the level of 5-time improviser year. So he gets a special award this year for being a 5-timer.
Yeah.
So
he gets to, is this his award? He gets to be here?
He gets to be here with me. He gets to hang out with me, which is a rarity.
Yeah.
And you get a little all-access pass. You get an official Aloha shirt.
No way.
You do.
Oh, awesome.
And then I taught him how to honi today.
Aw, that's cute. Are we going to get to see that?
Twice in one day? Is that possible? I don't know if I'm that homey.
Okay, all right, maybe later. Surprise me. So, Garrick, give us the rundown. What is Improvaganza?
Improvaganza is a improv festival that runs for 4 days. It's airing live. So Thursday, that's tomorrow, September 25th through the 28th, Sunday. So it'll be here at Kumukuhua Theater in Chinatown and also at the Arts and Marks Garage. So I have 23 groups internationally coming down for the festival. And it's pretty exciting. We already got to hang out with a few of them. We got to eat dinner with Italian groups, and they were quite pleasant. They shot a few YouTubes in Waikiki, parodying, I think it was Magnum PI.
Yep.
hilarious stuff.
The mustache was not a
Yes.
parody, though. That was a real mustache he had.
Oh, well, they're Italian.
Today we got to also take the Brazilian team out, and everybody else should be trickling this afternoon.
Awesome. So you have groups coming in from Seattle, Italy,
Yeah.
Brazil, Chicago.
Chicago, New Zealand, New York, Minneapolis. There's a few local groups, as well as San Francisco and I think Los Angeles.
That is so awesome.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
have that number of people involved. Is this more groups than you had last year?
I think it's a little less. I think we're one less from last year.
Oh, okay, but a lot.
A lot. Over 60 performers.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And it takes place at Kumakukua Theater, which is in the heart of downtown Honolulu, very near Pioneer Plaza, where we are sitting right now. At Kumakukua Theater and at the Arts at Mark's Garage.
Yes.
And these are for the for the improvisers, they're workshops as well as they have their own shows, and then they get to see the other shows
Absolutely.
as well. For the general public, there are shows on Friday and Saturday. And they can sign up for workshops as well.
Absolutely. So it's open to everyone. So anybody that wants to learn improv, maybe for the first time, those are good workshops to take, because we have some of the country's or the world's best improv teachers teaching those classes. I think Sean Landry from Los Angeles, she's a well-known improviser. She also runs an all-female African-American improv troupe who will be featured on our Ladies' Night stage. So they'll be headlining on, I think, Saturday at 8 o'clock. So she's one of the teachers. Another teacher is Wade Jackson from New Zealand. He runs the Improv Bandits. So they are they're two-time World Cup improv champions. So yeah, they're really good.
Intense. Yeah. How many other improv festivals are there around the country, around the world?
Oh man,
do you know?
there are quite a few that just popped up within the last 5 years.
It's fairly new.
Yeah, it's a fairly the oldest festival I think is maybe the Chicago one, which is going on 15 years. So and then our festival, actually no, longer, now that I think about it, they're closer to 2021, the Chicago Improv Festival, because I went up there when they were in their 8th year. So 8th year, it's been a while. This is my 9th year producing this festival.
One more year and you get the 10-timer.
Oh,
pass.
I do.
The
I do.
10-timer pass. That'll be really special. I don't know. What you'll pony then, I don't know. Yeah, when I was there was nothing like this when I was in Chicago. And I was involved at Second City. There was no festival. I had never heard anything about this. And then I got away from improv for a long time. And I just sort of got reintroduced to the world here. And it's exciting to see the synergy behind so many
to be honest, I
people
think
getting together.
when the millennium came, that's when all the improv groups really started to come out. You work out of Jet City, right?
Yeah.
How old is Jet City now?
How old is Jet City? 20 years? I feel like it's like 20 years old. I should know that, but I don't. Because I wasn't there when it was founded.
Right.
We're okay with
Yeah,
that.
I certainly feel that it's at least 20, maybe 25, but certainly 20, which is a long time. And in Seattle, it's one of the 2 theaters that own their own theater and have like enough of a draw to have that consistency.
To maintain. They
Yeah.
have a season.
Yeah, there is a season, but most of the theaters have a show that kind of is their linchpin, and that just runs continually, and then have other program shows on top of that.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, and with our group is turning 13 next year. So we've been around for 13 years plus. I mean, with Loose Screws, so that's again, Loose Screws have been around for over 20 years.
Why don't you break that down? Your group.
My group is on the spot. We are the ones that actually produce the festival. We started the festival by going out to other festivals and then just meeting and connecting with other improvisers. That's how I met Dart. It was actually at the Seattle Festival. So when we opened our submissions to a mainland audience, Dart was one of the first submissions, now that I think about it. The very first one. And that's when we used to start
The only way I got in. First submission gets it.
Everybody submitted with DVDs, and now it's all, you can do everything online, which I think is the real reason why improv is starting to grow, because now you have other ways to promote yourself. You can hit YouTube. You got Twitter. You got social media. So a lot of the younger guys are they're very into it. You know, they're very proficient in using social media. So I would consider that one of the growths of the art form is through social media.
And I think the festivals are also one of the ways that it grows,
Yeah.
because when I first met you guys, my first contact with you, other than seeing your show, was taking your class, which was on kabuki theater, which I had no experience with at all, and it was very different from anything I had ever studied or learned with regards to improv or comedy.
Yeah.
And I still will bring up those characters sometimes and do those voices that come from an actual non-improvised kabuki theater standpoint.
Yeah.
And that's something I never would have gotten, if they hadn't come over and brought it to us.
I think that's part of the cool thing as an audience member is I've gone to see an improv show before that kind of sucks. You know, no, yeah, right?
Never.
And you go and you support and you love it because of what it is, and you got to support the people who are on stage working their butts off. And sometimes the timing isn't there, and you're like, meh, I could have done with another drink. But when you go to a festival, there's not only the great energy and synergy that's happening for you guys, but as an audience member, if you don't like what you're watching, there's going to be another one on in a few minutes.
Yeah.
You know, so you come out of this. Let's see, you come to the 8 o'clock show at Kumakuhua Theater, and you're going to get to see how many different acts? 3 different acts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's something for everyone, and
Sure.
you're bound to be entertained by. I'm going to say at least 1 7/5.
Yeah.
Wait, can we use that as a quote for the
Yes,
festival?
I
You'll
think
be
you
entertained
should.
by at least 1 7/5 of the
those
3 groups. Which means 2 of the people in the middle group will be very happy.
7/5. So yeah.
Part of the thing I like about our festival is very diverse. So we actually look for diversity, or who's doing something different with the art form. Certainly with the international groups, they bring their own country's flair to the scene, and every city has a different improv style. Definitely Seattle stuff. For me, Seattle's style is very genre-based or narrative-based. They like to tell stories. They like to do improvised plays. That's the same thing with On the Spot. We like to do that, but we also have short-form teams that do Whose Line Is It Anyway style improv. In fact, we actually have our first inter-island group coming down to the festival, and they'll be performing on a national level. So, yeah, I've been getting a lot of emails from them. It's like, oh, are you sure we can do this? Yes, you guys are great. Don't worry about it.
At least 7/5 of you are great, yeah.
We also will be celebrating the ladies in improv. So on Sunday we'll be having a women in improv panel. So we have 3 female improvisers who run their own organizations. Sean Landry, Jill Ekman, and Kate Lucas from Print-Ups Girls. They all run their own organizations in improv. They run classes. They host their own festivals. So they're actually the ladies that everyone should talk to on how to get more women involved, more diversity in improv.
Why, Zuri, how close are we to a break? Okay, we're gonna take a break now because I want to ask a question that's
Okay.
going to need some time to answer.
Sure.
Okay.
So I just wanted to make sure we were clear on that. So we're going to take a little break. We'll be right back. This is Center Stage on ThinkTech Hawaii. Be right back.
Aloha, welcome to ThinkTech Hawaii. My name is Josh Green. I'm the host of a program called Healthcare in Hawaii. I'm a physician. I work in the emergency department on the Big Island. I also serve in the state senate, which, please don't hold that against me, doesn't detract from my television program. We speak about all the big healthcare issues in the state. We get together on Tuesdays from 2 o'clock till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we try to talk about the most important issues in healthcare. This is a terrific venue for people to learn about healthcare. There are many programs on this station. We broadcast it later, not just on the internet, but also on OC16. Thanks for joining us. Please be informed healthcare consumers.
Hi, we're back. We're live. This is Center Stage on ThinkTech, the ThinkTech digital series. I don't know what I'm talking about. We are coming to you live from Pioneer Plaza in downtown Honolulu, very near Kumukuhua Theater, which is one of the theaters that will host Improvaganza this very weekend. I'm talking with Garrick Paikai and Dartanion London.
No, that's how you pronounce it.
London.
Yeah, London. You can add a little question mark at the end.
London. Okay. So I have a couple questions. Which one to do first? Let me start with you, Dartanion.
Okay.
Dart, may I call you that?
Yes, you can. You
we're
figured
like
out the
old friends now.
nickname.
Yep. How did you get into? Let's start here. Tell me about your first experience with.
I was a
improv.
baby. Oh, with improv. My first experience with improv, I started doing sketch comedy in college, which is like the close sister to improv. You know, it's planned out sketches like Saturday Night Live or Monty Python or anything like that.
But it's not. You're not following a script verbatim.
Correct. But we were very bad at rehearsing, so a lot of the times we would end up having to improvise our lines because we just didn't rehearse well or often. So eventually another group started up at college that was straight up improv, and that was my first exposure to stuff that had rules and games and things like that. So I auditioned for that, and I started doing it, and just kind of kept doing it wherever I could after that, and bounced around with different groups, and eventually auditioned for Jet City in Seattle and got into it, and that has been the place that I've been performing consistently. And then I do other things, like the show I'm bringing here is Super Mega Art Show, which happened because Graham and I were both players at Jet City Improv and liked each other and started doing these accents at each other and couldn't stop. So we developed a show out of it. And that's Graham Downing, by the way, my improv partner.
Okay. Do you, have you been involved in regular theater before?
Yeah, I studied drama for a while in college before they made me build sets and like costumes, and I was like, not what these hands are made for, and changed. But so I've done some dramatic theater, but pretty much I'm sticking with comedy.
Okay. And the reason I asked
is that a
is
mistake?
because
I don't know either.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, the reason I asked is I've been involved in both, and after a couple of years doing improv work, I scurried my butt right back to a script.
Yeah.
And that's just where I live. That's who I am.
Right.
And I sometimes when I think about, I loved the time that I spent doing improv. I love watching it, but sometimes when I think about it, it raises my blood pressure just a little.
Yeah.
You know. So what I want to ask both of you is why? What do you feel? Why? Garrick, you start.
Yeah, okay.
Why this instead of that?
We were invited here, I believe.
Why this instead of that?
I've always been kind of a storyteller. Even when I was a kid, I used to draw comic books or, play with my G.I. Joes and have little stories for them. But I always found that I liked telling stories. And I like telling stories off the top of my head. I'm a horrible writer. I'm dyslexic. So even when I write a script, it's all jumbled. I need somebody to go in there. But if I'm improvising it, it's correct right then and there, and I'm sharing it with somebody else. So that's normally why I keep doing it. Plus, I get to invent different kind of shows. So the more things I can create off the top of my head, or the more influences I can bring into the improv, the happier I am. So I like doing the work and seeing what comes out, because I get surprised every single time that I perform. And if you're not surprised as a performer, then your audience won't be surprised at the cleverness that you come up with. So, and that's why I stick around to it.
Interesting. And Dart?
I really like the last thing you said about you being surprised about it, and because I could answer this like 10 different ways, but that's something that's really true for me too, because I do write stuff, and I've done stand-up, and I will write things and do readings of them as well, and those are also fun, but once you've done improv and you are having as much fun making it up as the audience is having watching it, it's really hard to go back to knowing all the jokes in advance. because I want to laugh too. I want to be surprised, and if I know everything I'm going to do before I go on stage, then it's not as fun for me. So I actually really like going on stage and being like, all right, let's find out what happens.
Yeah.
And
Let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Right, and the great thing is that you, not only do you get surprised by other people on stage, but you surprise yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, I wish I'd thought of that. I just said it.
I did, yeah. And I have memories of things coming out of my mouth and thinking, wow.
Yeah.
You know, and I've talked with people here on the show who will write and something comes out of the pen that kind of you know, surprises them. Or I talked with Sarah Dooley, who's a songwriter, who wrote a song in which she said something like, I love you so much I could kill you. I mean, it was something like that. And she thought, how I wrote that? I better sing it as long as it came out of me.
Right.
It's amazing what can come out of our brains
It's
that
the exact
we're
same
not
process.
even aware of.
Yeah, like when she comes up with a songwriting line or an author writes something that they like, it is literally the exact same process that we're going through when we come up with stuff. The only difference is you get to edit the song or the paper or whatever beforehand, and we can't really do that.
Yeah, we do it spontaneously. You know, you're performing, you're writing, you're directing, everything all at once. So and that's a special skill in itself, and you basically got to tell your brain to just let it go. You know, just let it do what it does, and just say yes to every single thing that comes up.
And that's intense.
Yeah. I'll say this though, I'll look at more traditional actors, and sometimes I'll be jealous of their ability to look at, you know, a paragraph that's just on the paper and then make all of the nuance come alive to it. Because for me, it's harder for me, I feel like, to look at something and I'll be like, but I don't like that word. Can I change it?
Yeah.
And because I would rather say this word. And so it's very difficult for me now to be like, all right, I'm just going in, I'm saying everything exactly the way it's written. And so that is a skill too.
That's part of the fun. I think that's part of the fun of it, is reading that paragraph and figuring out what was really meant here, what is you know, the text and what is the subtext.
I just did She Stoops to Conquer for the Hawaii Shakespeare Festival. So this is the first time in like 13 years I've actually had to pick up a script and memorize lines. So not only was memorizing lines hard, but I had to figure out, okay, so this is Oliver Goldsmith. I need to figure out what he's really saying in this particular line and kind of break it down. So I was actually glad to come back to a skill that I haven't used before. And even though I'm not reading verbatim lines on stage as an improviser, I am finding nuances in how to deliver certain lines. So for me, being an actor was really the way I got started into improv, because I was in drama at LCC, and I saw Lou Screws perform, and I asked if I could independent study that. So the only condition was that whatever I learned that week, I had to teach people. So that was my curriculum. I had to learn it and then teach it to other people.
The best way to learn.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry I missed you in She Stoops to Conquer. That's the only one I missed this.
Really?
I'm sorry.
You missed me in my bad Lancaster accent.
Wish I could have seen that. Do you, now after doing that, do you have any desire to do that again?
Yes. I would like to do Othello next year.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, Othello is happening next year?
It is. That's the rumor I hear.
Oh,
You didn't hear it from me.
I think you just leaked something. That's cool. Oh, awesome. Yeah, you're right. You are directing at the set when in improv. You're directing yourself also. You're not just making with the ha-ha. You're making sure that you're sharing it with other people. But as an audience, that's so great when you have an audience that's really there with you, or when you're in the audience and you feel a connection with the people on stage.
Yeah.
And it's like there's electrical snaps going on in the air. You know?
Yeah. That's one of the things we try to do with the show that we brought here, because that feeling. See, like anything can happen. Yeah. One of the nice things is that in an improv show, because the boundaries are so far out there that you don't know what's going to happen, the audience doesn't know what's going to happen, and you can end up interacting with the audience, or pulling them on stage, or going outside the theater, or who knows, things that would never be written to take place in a scene, because the author of that scene wouldn't know where you're doing it. Only you as the performer right now know what's happening right now and can play with that.
Yeah. Have you gone to other festivals?
Yeah.
Where?
I've been to the Austin Festival, the Seattle Festival. We went to the Chicago Festival. I'm probably forgetting some. We did a festival at a whale watching. We did a show at a whale watching festival once. So
How did the whales feel about that? It's kind of on their turf.
Their suggestions all sounded like music. It was kind of whiny, just like. Ooh. You can only do that scene like 4 or 5 times before you start losing the locals.
So, is there a difference in the locales for the festivals? Have you noticed?
Yeah. Austin is really hot. Otherwise, it's the same.
No, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
if it is all the same, because it's all the same.
No, it's not all the same because the size of it can be very different.
That is
ones
very
like
true.
Chicago, Austin, those ones are gigantic, and for one, it's just impressive that there's this huge community out there. And ones like this one are smaller and more intimate, and that's nice because you develop like a really close personal connection with everyone else in the festival. So both of them have their advantages, but as far as the experience of performing, like it varies so much based on like the venue and the audience that shows up. But I think improv audiences in general are pretty great audiences for almost everything. I did another show at Dartmondo where we would have stand-up comics show up and do their set routines. And most of them loved the improv audiences because the audience was already there, like, oh, you're going to tell us some jokes? Great, what do you have?
Yeah.
Compared to a comedy club where they're like, give me your jokes. Like, completely
you are
different.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause, like, do you need the back of the seat or not? That's the difference. So, like, improv audiences tend to be really engaged. And I think that's partly the art form because we'll ask them for suggestions or interact with them directly.
Yeah.
But it's also, I think, people that enjoy this particular art form tend to be people that are excited and open to things happening in a like theatrical way.
Yeah.
And so the people that end up showing up end up being pretty great audiences a lot of the time.
Well, the audience is a part of the show.
Yeah.
That's a part of the agreement that you have.
You're right. We're
It's-
engaged.
Yeah, it's not a passive thing because improvisers will use energy. They'll react to certain things. They'll not only take suggestions, they may pull you up on stage. We've done that. I've seen Dart ride an audience member out.
I have done that, yeah.
Okay, we got to take a break on that. I can't even believe I have to. We're going to ride Dart right out on this break. We'll be right back and we can talk about that a little more. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jay Fidel. That's Ted Ralston. You know, Ted is the host of Where the Road Leads. It shows every Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. It's about technology. It's about how people collaborate and solve problems with modern technology. It's where the road leads. We all know that. We should all be listening. Join us there, 4 to 5 p.m. every Friday. Now, what about that do you agree with?
All of it.
I knew he'd say that. Aloha. Say aloha.
Aloha.
Good.
Hi, we're back. This is Center Stage on the ThinkTech Hawaii Digital Series. I'm Donna Blanchard talking with Garrick Paikai and Dartanion London.
Good job.
Okay, you rode an audience member. You rode an entire audience out.
I've done both, yeah.
This is something you don't get in She Stoops to Conquer.
I was thinking of other things that I did last time that I can't even say because they might be illegal. Like
We have no FCC.
Oh no, it's not FCC.
Oh.
I did see you have 2 audience members, one touch a mustache and one touch a beard.
That's true. Yeah. There were 2 guys that looked similar, and they just happened to be at the show at the same time. So we brought them up, and they were like mustache beard brothers, and we had them like entwine their mustaches and beards together, so that they could show off their genetic similarity, and the audience applauded for that for some reason.
I would have applauded for that.
Yeah, I guess.
That sounds good to me. So let's talk about saying yes to everything,
Sure.
because that's the key to it all.
Yes.
Yeah? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Can you break that down to these people?
Well, the idea is that you can always build off an idea. So the easiest way to build off an idea is just to say yes and add on to it. And the idea of just creating something with the understanding that no matter what I say, it's going to be perfect every single time. And that's really what it all is. And that's how I would say most improv groups recognize that rule as a universal kind of thing.
Yeah, that you are going to receive support because the
Yes.
next person is going to say yes also. But don't you have at least one performer in this year's festival that is just a lone
Yes, Ben Jones, he's an older improviser, but he's doing a one-man show. And when we saw his submission, it was one of the most intense things that we've ever seen because he's playing all the characters, and he's playing all the characters honestly. So yeah, he's at Kumukuho. I definitely highly suggest people checking out his show.
Yeah. That one is at, which day is he?
It's Friday night,
It's Friday.
late night, 10 o'clock.
Okay, yeah, so both of our theaters, Kumukuhua and Mark's Garage, have shows at 8 and 10 on both Friday and Saturday.
Yes.
And there's enough time in between if you wanted to see the 8 at Kumu and the 10 at Mark's, you could do that. And the schedules are all on improvaganza.com.
Yes.
We should say that, improvaganza.com. Okay, and you can get tickets there. You can also get tickets at the door as long as we still have them.
Yes. I'm saying yes a lot.
Yes,
Yeah.
because it's important to say yes.
She's a trained improviser, so she knows.
I know. I was with you on that. I'm here to support you. Yes,
I was going to add something
and
to that, actually, because, like, yes is the basis of all of this, like saying yes to the offers and the things that happen. But it doesn't literally mean saying yes to every idea that pops up. It means agreeing to that being real. So my character may say no, and I may not like the thing that Garrick presents to me, but I'm not denying that the thing he said is true. And that's something that it takes, I think, people a while to learn, that you are not necessarily always saying yes and then trying to build on it. You might say, no, that's terrible, get out of my house, but you're agreeing that this circumstance exists and this relationship exists.
where you are.
Yeah.
So you could say, are you waiting for the 5:30 bus? No, but you're established that you are at a bus stop now.
Sure. The best way I can use the example of saying no and agreeing to it is, you ever watch the Twilight Zone endings? There's always some surprise twist where the guy figures out that he's something like, oh my gosh, John, you're Santa Claus. No, I'm not Santa Claus. I can't be yeah, he discovers that. So he's still saying no, but he's accepting the idea that, yeah, he is eventually Santa Claus.
Santa the whole time.
What groups that are here are you guys most excited about seeing?
I'm definitely excited to see you guys.
Thank you.
Again.
Awesome.
I always get a kick out of seeing your show. Ben Jones, I really wish I was in a show opposite to it, but I would love to see him.
I'm definitely going to check him out, because I really like the challenge of solo improv, and seeing anyone who can do that, pull it off is exciting to me.
Yeah.
Who else?
Where's your show?
We are at the Arts at Mark's Garage Thursday and Saturday. Yeah.
Oh, and Thursday's the opening of
ceremony,
everything. I didn't mention that. And tickets are available for that
Yes.
as well. Yeah.
Still got plenty.
Okay.
Which is my camera.
You can go right now. You can go right.
We have lots of tickets still left. Please buy online or come at the door. Whatever works.
Oh, and let's talk about that. The tickets are $15 apiece.
Yep.
But if you are buying for both shows at one venue, then it's $20.
Yes. Or you can go online, and advanced ticket sales are $10. So that's a good way of doing it too.
Yeah. And isn't there a pass for all of?
There is, although I think it's going to end soon. So if this is live and you guys are watching, you can go online and buy all access passes now and save like a ton of money and take it.
Can we put the ticker at the bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we need.
10
See if you can
seconds
help us
left.
out. I have no idea how much longer they have. We have about 5 more minutes.
Oh,
Wow.
really?
Yeah, I know. It went fast, right?
What's our closer? Can we go to our big closer?
I know. We got to work on something. Don't you boys come up with something? See, it's intense, isn't it? That's why I like a script.
What does your script say the big closer is?
I have a little wrap up. Yeah, that's all I have, and I have a schedule for the events. How many local groups are involved in the festival?
Ooh, I have to count with my fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 local groups.
And those groups are all pretty active here. There's
Yes.
improv just about every weekend.
Yeah,
you can see improv
yeah.
around here.
It's a really good community because everybody has their own different style, which brings in different people. So when it comes to be the larger festivals, they normally bring their crowd to the improv festival and they discover other stuff or other local groups or other groups that maybe they're going to LA and they would like to see or internationally. So it's really good to have a diversity here. I know On the Spot tends to do more geek-themed improv or narrative improv. So we normally draw from the theater crowd and from the guys that like to play video games and stuff like that, as opposed to somebody like Iffy, who does short form and is more of the local, like rap replica kind of improv style. They would bring that there.
Can you talk about a little bit about the different forms that you're going through?
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
you're breaking those down a little.
So traditionally, the two main forms is long form and short form. Short form improv is based off of improv games, theater games, and that developed from Viola Spolin back in Chicago. So she would teach inner city kids, this is theater, and this is a game that we can play to introduce you to theater. So that evolved into what we now know as short form improv. Long form improv comes from another theater tradition, and mainly from the Chicago style of improvisation. So guys like Del Close or Second City, they started developing shows where it was, you took one random idea and you built several things out of it. So we would call them long form. But there's a bunch of sub genres that just happened afterwards. Keith Johnstone, who is a British theater professor, went to Canada to teach theater games. I want to call it theater games. And he developed the impro style, which is more of a narrative base. And you're telling stories to the audience. You're not just playing games. You're connecting with them because it's a visual thing that us human beings do culturally. We tell stories together. So what better way to do that from the top of your head? And then now there's a lot of genre prov going on. So genre being that we take a specific genre, we dissect it, and we improvise a live story. In Seattle, they did a Downton Abbey version of it. For us, we do an improvised kabuki show. So a lot of just different genre prov groups are starting to pop up, and that seems to be the new thing now. And there's tons and tons of different art forms from it.
Yeah. It seems like the improv itself is going through so much growth just over the last
Yes.
5 years. Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean,
The no memorizing part.
It's the no memorizing part. But really, I mean, it's been, I was involved in it a very long time ago, but it really does seem like over the last 5 years, it has just started snowballing into, people are naming different aspects of it
Yeah.
and follow, and maybe it's because of the festivals, because people are sharing so much more.
Yeah, I do think it's part of social media too. I mean, we're not, like, definitely, improv has existed in Hawaii since the 70s. In fact, Kumukuhua was the very first theater to host an improv show there. They did improvised Kyogen and a Herald, so which is a long form that was taught in Chicago. So it's been around, but I think with the millennium and with YouTube and with just social media in general, back then it was MySpace and then Facebook. So the more you start doing stuff, the more you started being personal and sharing, oh, this is what I'm doing, it starts to get a bigger thing.
So you think the social media aspect of it is about the sharing, or is it about the come here, we're doing this? I mean,
I think good improvisers share. I mean, there's good improvisers that also do self-promoting, but the good improvisers that get a lot of followers are the guys that are really into their improv and really into their work and just like to take selfies of themselves like 5 minutes before their show or introduce people oh, this is my friend from blah blah blah. We're going to be doing this together. So I think really good improvisers just share what they're doing, and people like to see that, and like to say, oh, I would like to do that as well.
It also gives people just a chance to follow somebody that they like.
Yes.
Because if I like a band, I might want to see where they go on tour. I might want to see the pictures of their tour bus. You know, it won't just be the once a year that they come out with an album. And so social media things give us an opportunity to do that.
You feel like you get to know them.
Yeah.
Have any of the improv groups ever used social media, like during a show? Have they involved it?
I know that the Hideout in Austin, they have a live feed during their festival. When they do their 48-hour. Sorry, R2D2 just talked to me.
Should be him there.
I know the Hideout in Austin, they do live feeds whenever they do their 48-hour marathon.
Oh, wow.
I know UCB down in LA also has a show that was originally the MySpace show, and now it's the Facebook show.
Oh, it evolved like we all did.
Yeah, and they go out and they get some people out of the audience, and then they look at their Facebook pages, and then use that as their characters.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm very sorry we're out of time. I have to wrap it up, but that's very cool. See how that's evolving. I'm really looking forward to seeing both of you on stage. We're going to have a lot of fun this weekend.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for being here, for watching us. Thank you, fellas, for joining me. I'm going to take care of a little bit of business now. We have been talking with Garrick Paikai and Dartanion London of Improvaganza. It's the 9th annual Improvaganza here. It takes place at Kumukuhui Theater and Mark's Garage Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. Go to improvaganza.com. I would like to thank our production manager, Zuri Bender, who is in my ear. I would like to thank, we don't have a stage manager right now, so I guess I'm going to thank Zuri for that also. And I would also like to thank Chrissy Goffigan, who is our communications director, and Jay Fidel, who somehow manages to put it all together. If you would like to see this show again or any of our others, you can find them on YouTube at ThinkTech, or you can go to thinktechhawaii.com. We will see you next week.